Hello everyone, welcome back again. This is Zoya's Affairs, and if today is your first time of tuning in, you are highly welcome. And to my returning subscribers, I am so glad and excited that you came back to watch. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. So today on the channel, I will be preparing my chicken kidney vegetable jollof rice. So that is what we will be preparing today on the channel. So if you want to see how I made this, keep watching, click on the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, turn on the bell notification so as to get notified whenever I post a new videos. Share this video to your friends and family. Thank you all for watching. So to begin, I will start by showing you the vegetables that I will be using for today's recipe. So over here, I have some carrots. These are actually big carrots. So I have some carrots over here. I have spring onion. I have this green bell pepper. I have some onions, white onion and purple onion, and I also have some garlic here. So I'll be using this vegetable to make my jollof rice. This bell pepper here, this is actually the male bell pepper, and male bell pepper, it's more sweeter than the female bell pepper. How you know it is male is see the heads, it has 3 heads. So this is how you know this is a male bell pepper, while the female bell pepper has green heads. So to the onions, I will be using white onion and red onion. I'm going to be using this white onion because it's going to give our meal that delicious taste, that sweet taste, because white onions tend to be more sweeter while the red onions, it's more flavorful. So that is why I would like to use both onions, and I will be also adding some garlic to the meal. So moving forward, here I'm just showing you the kidney which I'll be using. I have 1 kilogram of chicken kidney here, which I have removed from the freezer, and I just add water over it so it can defrost, and I will just be rinsing the kidney. I actually rinse this kidney a couple of times just to make sure it is well clean, and I will also be adding salt to it after rinsing it for like 5 to 6 times just to be able to get rid of enough blood from it. I will add salt to it just to disinfect the kidney and make it clean properly. Moving forward, I'm just going to be pouring inside a pot. Then I'm going to season this before I'll start cooking. First, I'm going to be adding the chopped onions. I'm going to add salt to it. I'll also add some curry powder. I'll be adding some dried thyme, dried rosemary, and I'll also be adding my chopped green peppers. These peppers are actually Scotch bonnet pepper, which I have already chopped, and I'll be adding it to it because I want it to have a bit of spicy in it. Then I'll also be adding my all-purpose seasoning. Add a little water just to mix it together, and I'll start cooking. So while that is cooking, I'll go ahead and prep the chicken. This is a very large chicken. I didn't even know it would be much like this. It is actually a whole chicken which we just butcher. So I will just be cleaning it like this. Make sure it is properly cleaned, and I also add salt to it just to make sure it is well cleaned. So after cleaning the chicken, I found that it would be too much, so I decided to just split it in half and I'm going to be keeping the other part of the chicken. I'm just going to be adding this into a pot, and I'll start by seasoning the chicken. I should have marinated this chicken for at least like 2 hours, or if I have the time I should have marinated it overnight, but I don't have that time, so I'm just going to be cooking this straightforward. So I start by adding some curry powder, I add some dry thyme, I also added some dried rosemary, I added the all-purpose seasoning, and I'll be adding some seasoning cubes. I'll be mixing this together just to combine everything together, and I'm going to be placing this on the fire to boil on its own so as to release its own juice before adding water. So after about 10 minutes into the cooking time, I came back to check on the pot of chicken, and as you can see, it is cooking. I'll mix this together to combine it and see how it's going, and our chicken is actually going well. You can see that it has started to release its own juice. It has a lot of juice here, so I'm just going to be adding a little bit more water to give it room to be able to cook well. So I came back to check on the chicken after 5 minutes of cooking, because we are still going to be frying this, so I don't actually want it to overcooked. So I'm just going to take it off the heat and drain it, then I will start with the frying process. So in my dry pan, I'm just going to be pouring in some vegetable oil, just enough to fry the chicken. I'm going to be putting this on the fire and let it heat up. So after heating it up, I went in and started placing the boiled chicken in it to allow it to fry. So I'm going to be frying this, and I come there as often as I can to turn it around, and as you can see, it has started to turn like golden brown. So I'm just going to flip it upside down. So once it's completely fried, I'm going to take it out of the oil and set it aside. So I'm going to be doing this for all the batches of the chicken till everything is properly fried. So once my chicken is ready, I will now go ahead to start cooking our jollof rice. So here are the list of ingredients which I have for the jollof rice. Over here I have the chicken stock. This is the broth which I took out from the chicken and the kidney, so I mix it here. So here I have some boiled pepper. This is just a combination of tomatoes, tatashe, which is also known as red bell pepper, some scotch bonnet peppers, onions, garlic and ginger, which I have blended together and I boil it down. So that is the combination of our pepper mix. I also have some plantain here which I will be using for the recipe, and here is our boiled kidney, the chicken kidney, my carrot which I have nicely diced, and some tomato puree. I have here the white onions which is also chopped, and I have the red onions there. I have chopped that as well. Over here, there is a bay leaf. I have a tablespoon of butter. I have curry powder, seasoning cubes, thyme, black peppers, salt, dried rosemary. I have some spring onion which I have cut into tiny stripes, and I have the green bell peppers also, I have cut it, and of course the garlic. So here are the ingredients that I'll be using to make our rice. So in a dry pot, I'm just going to be adding 4 teaspoons of oil because we are making a big pot of jollof rice. Then once that heats up a bit, I'm going to be adding the cold kidney. So I'm going to be stirring in on that just to make sure it is frying. I'm going to be stirring in. So while that is on the fire, I'll go ahead and be prepping my plantains. I'm just going to be rinsing this plantain. So after rinsing, I'll cut it off and I'll start to cut it into circular shapes like this. Then I'm going to be adding a little salt and I'm just going to be combining everything together. After doing that, I'm going to be setting that aside. So I went back to the pot of the kidney which is frying, and I'm going to turn that in, turn everything together, and as you can see, our kidney is ready. This is the texture we are aiming for. This is how it should look. It should be fried like this. So after that, it is properly fried and it is okay by me. I will add my chopped garlic. After adding the chopped garlic, I'll begin to combine it and stirring it in to make sure everything is well combined, and the garlic can release its own flavor and aroma into the oil and the kidney. So after frying the garlic for about a minute or two, I went ahead and poured in the purple onions. I'll be mixing that together and frying it till everything is well translucent. And I'm also going to be adding the tomatoes puree. I'll try and be dissolving that into the oil and into the kidney, just combining everything together. Keep stirring so it does not stick to one side and it doesn't burn. So I'll keep stirring to that. As you can see, everything is frying properly. So I'm going to be frying this for like 3 to 5 minutes on medium to low heat so it does not burn. So once I achieve this texture, this is what we are aiming for. This is what it should look like. Once I see that our kidney and the tomato puree, it is okay like that, I'll go ahead and add the boiled pepper to it and combine everything together. Mix everything thoroughly together, let it all combine, and I'm going to cover it and allow it to steam together. Once I cover this and allow it to steam, I'm going to go back to the pan of the chicken where I fried the chicken, and I'm going ahead to fry my plantains, and I'm going to allow it to fry and turn into golden brown, and I'm going to be setting that aside. After about 5 minutes of covering the pepper mix, I'm going to come back into it and check it. It is well steamed together, and I'm just going to stir that in and combine everything before started adding all my ingredients. So I'll be adding all the spice and the herbs now, and I'm going to be mixing everything together. I'm also adding the seasoning cubes. I'll add everything in, combine everything, and I'll cover and allow it to steam for another 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, I come back, and as you can see, the oil has started to flow on top of the pepper mix. That is when you know that the stew base is ready. So I'm just going to mix this together just to check if it's not burning, and I'm just going to scoop some out of this pepper just in case it is too much. It is better not to be enough than to be too much. So I'm just going to be taking some out of it before adding the washed rice. So once I add the rice, I'm going to combine everything together. I'm going to give it a good mix. Actually, one of the ingredients of jollof rice making should be the turning and stirring. You don't want to just leave your rice like that. You just need to stir everything often and often so as to get the right texture you are aiming for. So after mixing everything together, I'm going to be pouring in the chicken broth. This kind of rice I am cooking here is actually the hard rice. It takes longer time before it's cooked, and if you don't add enough water, the rice might not cook properly. So I will also be adding half of the quantity of the chicken stock, I'll be adding water of that half quantity to it. I also added some bay leaf to it, and I cover it and allow it to cook. The first 10 minutes into the cooking time, I come back to the pot of rice and I'm just mixing everything together just to be sure that the rice is not burning, and so as to mix everything together. So I'm just giving it a good mix like this. And before covering, I see that I think this rice is looking a little bit pale, so I decided to add the butter, and I'm just putting it in like that before I'll cover it with a foil paper. So after about 5 minutes of the cooking, I come back to it again, mix everything together, and as you can see, it is cooked now. I tasted and it was 80% cooked, so I decided this is the right time to add in my vegetables. So I'll be going in with the carrot since it's the hardest of the vegetables. After the carrots, I will also be adding the white onions. I'm going to cover this with a foil paper, and I'm also going to cover it with the lid of the pot so as to allow everything to steam together. So after 3 minutes of covering, I come back to the pot and I'm just going to flip everything together, and we'll be fluffing it like this just to combine the rice and vegetables together. So here I'm just adding the green bell peppers, and I'm going to be turning everything together as well just to combine it together, and I'll cover it. So after 2 minutes of covering, I come back to the pot, and as you can see, our food is ready. I'm just going to be topping it with the spring onions, and I'm going to be combining everything together properly. So after combining and after mixing, our food is ready. My chicken kidney vegetable jollof rice is ready. So all that is left now is to serve and enjoy. So I will be serving this in a plate, and I'm just going to be pairing it with the fried plantain and the fried chicken. So if you have watched this video up to this moment, please give me a thumbs up, like my video, share and comment. It really means a lot to me. Thank you all for watching. See you again in my next one. Bye.